Hi, I'm Elle Witchy.
And I'm Empress.
And I'm Kim.
Oh, sorry, guys. We're no experts. We're three vastly different women with three vastly different backgrounds, giving three diverse perspectives on life and spirituality. This is another episode of The Witch, the Bitch, and the Sage. And yes, we were cutting up before she hit the record.
Because this is our second time recording this because it's the subject's
Yeah.
astrology is very extensive and it's already confusing 5 minutes in.
But it's okay. We're going to get it together.
Amen.
We are going to get it together. Even though Kim is stuck in -4-degree weather and Elle and I have an impending ice storm coming on us.
But we're here.
Everything's going to be
We're
fine. We're here. And Elle is going to lead us in astrology today. Again. Let's try it again. Elle, take it away.
Astrology is something that is very important for a lot of people. Everybody, it should be. So we're going to try and dive in. I want to preface this by saying I'm not an astrologer. I'm not an expert. I'm not pretending to be, but I have more knowledge than the average person. If you were to ask me, what are the two things I've always gone back to, even before spirituality? It's always astrology, and tarot.
Yeah.
So this has just been an obsession of mine in general. So I wanted to try and arm people with some information so that way you can look at your chart and understand what it is. So if you want to follow along, go ahead and pull your chart. First off, you need to know where you were born. You need to know what time you were born, and that can be found on your birth certificate. I had an original that got destroyed. Then I got a copy and it didn't have it on it. But then last year I ordered a new one and it came with it. So I was souped about it. And I'll get into why the time itself is important for accuracy when we get into houses. But you do that. And I would recommend two websites, Astro Cafe or Astro Seek. You can Google them. I think it's Astro. I think Astro Cafe is just astrologycafe.com. And I think the other one is Astro-Seek. But I'm not sure. Please Google. If you have your own website that you use, please use that. You can use AI. I have found that it does not work for me, but other people have found that it works for them. So if that does, go for it, but always compare it to a website where you can actually pull that info. That is what I would say, because it told me at one point I was Capricorn sun, Capricorn moon, and I am absolutely not. But anyways, so there's those. Okay, so ladies, make sure you have a drink, make sure you have a snack. We got a lot of ground to cover. Snack.
We're ready.
Let's jump into astrology, just a little bit of history of it. So what is it? Astrology is the study of the movement of the sun, moon, and planets, as well as how they connect to all living matter. It's been around since as early as 2900 BC. The Sumerian temples, which are called, and I butchered this the first time around and it didn't get any better, ziggurats, Ziggurats, which is terraced pyramids, which is actually like were used to observe stars and planets. So science does actually support astrology. So as I've said before, I've come armed with my Bible, which is the Complete Idiot's Guide to Astrology, and my Holy Grail. This is a pizza plate that I slap on the wall because, as I was saying before, most of the time when you see transit charts, because I track transits, it's flat and people have the marbles and stuff that they move around. But I didn't want to take an entire dedicated space for this. I wanted it on my wall. So I grabbed crystals and put magnets on them. And this is a $5 pizza pan that I turned into 12 little pizza slices with all my shit on it. Dollar General, $5. Crystals were about $20. I got cheap ones. And magnets were like $3 from Amazon. Okay, so I want to read an excerpt from here of how science backs up astrology to a certain degree, I would say. So some physicists now believe that astrology shows the order underneath what we see on the surface. This theory is based on physicist David Bohm, Bohm, his work. Bohm was one of Einstein's right-hand men. So basically, Brahm explains how energy, matter, and meaning are enfolded together, and he has written formulas that support this, kind of like an E equals MC squared. Brahm's theory explains how inner and outer reality are interwoven, or as physicist William Kepin puts it, the nature of reality is a single undivided wholeness. In other words, we are all part of something, and like DNA, we each contain the pattern of that something as well. Now let's jump into questions so far. Questions, concerns, comments.
I'm just going to reiterate really quickly. So, to pull the astrological chart, they just need their place of birth, city and state, the exact time, and then it'll produce a list of things. And then you're going to break down the what, where, and why of all that. Okay.
Yeah, and you can do it without your time, but it's just not going to be as accurate, and I'll explain why. I'll get into that. But yeah, you can do it with just your city and your date. I'm sorry, I don't even think I put that when you were born, what your birthday is. But yeah, and then like I said, there's plenty of software out there. Google, just Google it, natal chart. That's what it would be called, is a natal chart, NATAL. And then, like I said, I personally use AstroSeek or Astro Cafe. Okay. And you can click on their unknown time if you don't know your time. But like I said, you'll figure out why later. Anyways, yes.
Can I just say, just as a person, the average person into astrology who has pulled their birth chart, I've used a few sites. I will say that for new users, Astro Cafe is a good free site that's user friendly, and also the actual report is easy to read if you're not familiar with how to read it, just from the average user.
Astrology is very much calculus, geometry, and a bunch of shit. And as we have said for a few running episodes now, I don't do math. So I call it chasing a chart. When you have to start chasing charts and finding this fucking ruler over here and this shit, I'm out. So when it comes to something like big in depth, because a lot of these planets will play off of each other, I would say you should reach out to an actual astrologer. I'm just trying to arm people with like you're going to be able to operate with the information I give you, but I'm not going to get into a lot of these specifics, just FYI. But yes, she's absolutely correct about Astro Cafe. I think that's the very original one I started using. That's always at the top of the Google search. Okay. So there is 14, 15 different placements that plus more comets, asteroids. I don't get into any of that. Your big three are the ones that are you yourself, and those are going to be like your sun, moon, and rising. And I'm going to get into what each of those mean, but I just wanted to give kind of a layout. So then what is then called like a big six, which then encompasses three more planets, which are Mercury, Venus, and Mars. And those become kind of external of you, but still you. And then we have outer planets and we have generational planets, and I'll get into those. And then there are other points that have nothing to do with planets. Lots of info, folks. It's one thing to know it, it's another thing to explain it. So bear with me. So for your big three, first up is the one that everybody's always familiar with, and that is your sun sign. So this is actually your core or your ego. So like we've said in numerology, there's a whole lot of like 3D versus 5D. So spiritual versus human, flesh and blood. That your sun is your core. It's your ego. And I have actually heard astrologers explain it. That is like your highest self, your potential. That changes zodiacs monthly. Then you have your moon. So your moon is how you think or how you process. That changes zodiacs every 2.5 days. And then you have your rising or your ascendant, which is ASC is how it's abbreviated on natal charts. And that's the rising. That is where the sun is, wherever it is on the horizon. And that is how you present to the world. So how people would describe you. That's your big three. So your soul, how you think, how you process, and then how you present. Next up is the three rounding out to make the big six. Mercury is how you communicate, and that changes signs every 3 weeks. Venus is how and what you love, and that changes zodiacs every 5 weeks. And then your Mars. So your Mars is your drive, ambition, how you tackle problems, conflict, what I call a mode of operation. And that changes zodiacs every 2 months. So that is like literally like when you start getting into things, if you had just even those 6, you're good to go. Yeah, I'm sorry. I looked down. Who raised their hand first?
When the planets move in the different zodiacs, I'm going to assume that that subsequently could affect our moods or personalities
Yes.
or given. Yeah, I've been told that my whole life. Okay. Go ahead, Kim.
You're absolutely correct.
Wheel, this wheel is made specific to you. It's not a
Yes,
basic.
this wheel, yes, and I'll explain that. This wheel is very specific to me, but these signs don't change, and I'll get into that. The houses change because it's like a dial within a dial. So these out here don't change, but depending upon what time you're born, changes how that kicks off, and I'll get into it.
Okay, I would like to make one. Help me make one for me, and I'm done. Go ahead, Kim.
Okay, so for the novices out there like myself, I'm going to pull my
Yes.
astrological chart and I'm going to get my sun, moon, rising. Those are my first 3. And then I will probably get the
Yes.
subsequent 3 of my Mercury, Venus, and Mars. And all of those together make up what you're calling the big 6.
Yes, correct.
Okay, just for
Because
the
those are
people trying to
personal
keep up with
planets.
us.
Correct. Those are personal planets. They affect you on a day-to-day basis is basically what it boils down to. Because again, communication. What we do right now is communication. I love this podcast. I love you. There's Venus right there. Mars. We had to record this a second time. So yes, you're absolutely correct. So that's why it's like big 3 is super important because that's like you. Next 3 to make out the round out that 6s. That's why I said it's like it's external. It's still you, but it's external because it's how you appear externally, if that makes sense. Okay, cool. All right. Anything else before we go on to the outer planets and generational?
Nope,
Because
we're
these ones are.
good.
So now we have outer planets, and these are. I tried to figure out what the difference was. I paired off ones that I would call generational, and I'll get there. So outer planets obviously take longer. Again, it's all around the sun, but from perspective of Earth. So the further out you go with these planets, the longer it takes for the shit to go through. So that's why those are considered outer and generational. So first up is Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of luck and expansion. So Jupiter expands wherever it falls. Saturn, that is the old man time, and he is lessons. Saturn is very disciplined. He wants to make you fucking sick. If you've had difficulties for the past 3 years, I would look at your Saturn placement, where it is and what's going on there, because that's probably going to explain a lot of the fucking issues you've been having. You do something wrong. Stop, repeat, go back. Did you learn your lesson? What did you learn from this? Can you expand upon it? Your lessons, I'm telling you, will come back around. They're secular. Is that what the word is? You guys are Virgos,
Cyclical.
you know, I don't.
Cyclical.
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 Yeah.
So that's Saturn. And Saturn returns are every 30 years, and they bring about huge significant change. If you want to see how big Saturn is, like think about, so Saturn changes signs every 2.5 years. So when you're having a Saturn return, it's sitting where it is natally in your chart. So for instance, mine is in Libra. So from the ages of like, I think it was like 29 to 31 was where it was there. I got engaged. I relocated from Massachusetts to North Carolina. I changed career. That's actually how I met Empress, was in the middle of my Saturn return. Those things are huge. So when you're 30, take a gander at what happened there, and you'll see that in nature. 60, and if you make it to 90, same deal. So those are huge. I'll just talk about Saturn returns. That's what that is. All right, 2.5 years. Uranus. I pronounce it Uranus because the word Uranus is stupid and it doesn't even look like that. Everybody calls it something different. I will call it Uranus. I don't care. I don't even care if you call it Uranus. That's fine. So Uranus is the planet of innovation and change. This is every 7 years. So that leads us to Pluto. Pluto is the planet of transformation and power. So this transit is very weird. I was just saying, and most of these things are roughly, like it's not like 14 years to the day kind of shit. So with Pluto, because it's so far out, and because it has a weird ass long elliptical transit means that it changes signs every 12 to 30 years. It has a much longer extension because it just depends on where it is. Don't ask me which zodiacs it would be in for 12 years and which one for 30. I don't know if it changes. It's just fucking weird. It's a weird elliptical fucking rotation, so that's why it's not even. Transformation in power, that's a big one. But there are some people who don't even count Pluto because obviously at 2900 BC, they did not even know that Pluto existed as a planet. So there's some things about like some of the stuff that has been taken from, I think it's Saturn specifically, have been then given to other planets, like a Neptune, a Pluto, things like that. But I subscribe to Pluto, so I'm going to roll with that. Okay. So those are your generational. Those are considered generational because of how long they stay in a zodiac. So literally everybody born in the same year as me, 1981, has Pluto in Libra. I think it's Libra. I should know this by now.
Like in your year has, regardless of time, date, place, has that.
Yes. Yeah, there can't be. And it's, again, the reason why it's generational is because generations are every 10 years. So I just told you Neptune moves every 14 years, Pluto's 12 to 30 years, Uranus is every 7 years. So half of my generation, or maybe 2/3 of it, will have Uranus in one sign and it in another one. But all of us have, just like you Gen X. You guys, if you were to, because you guys are closer in age than like me and Empress probably have like a Neptune and a Uranus together, and then maybe all three of us have Pluto in the same sign kind of thing,
Yeah,
but
fun
you two
fact
will
for our
have more of
viewers,
those.
I am exactly 10 years older than Elle Witchy and 5 years older than Empress. So we split a lot of this information.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Correct. So that's the way to think of it. That's why those are generational. So that's why astrologers don't necessarily put a whole lot of weight in it. I personally do. Okay. So those are those planets. So I'm going to, yes.
So it was every 14 years, he said?
Yes. Yep.
And what was that the planet of? What was its characteristics?
I don't even think I told you. Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you. I didn't even read it. I'm like, yeah, I didn't say these words. Neptune is dreams and illusion and spirituality. Other placements that aren't really planets. So first up is a very famous comet that you may not realize is a comet, and that is Chiron. So Chiron is the wounded healer, and it is located between Saturn and Uranus. That's where it is because obviously, gravitational pull, all that good jazz. So it's there kind of circling around. You cannot heal your Chiron. Chiron is literally the wounded healer. So it's the thing that you will have throughout that you have to learn to accept, love, and deal with. It's a hurdle that you can never get over. So you just have to coexist with it, basically. Yes, you got it. You got it. But
So
there's there's some that are like, well, this is how you heal your Chiron. I personally, again, I'm not an astrologer, but this is my belief. So this is my opinion. You can't heal this. You just have to learn to love it, deal with it, kind of thing. That has another weird ass orbit in it. So it changes zodiac signs every 4 to 9 years. Okay. So next up. Okay. So now I'm going to get into things that are mathematical points. They're not actually things. So first up is Lilith, or the dark moon. It's a mathematical point. So Lilith signifies your shadow self, representing primal instincts, rebellion, independence, desires, and wounds. So there's a lot of sites that don't even show your Lilith sign or don't even get into it. So if you're missing that, if you don't see that when you're pulling up your natal chart, I would suggest finding another site because you should be able to.
Would it be under something else? Like on my chart, I have at the very bottom MC. What does that stand for? Do you know?
MC is mid chart.
But no, that's not. But that does have. But that doesn't have anything to do with Lilith.
Nothing to do with Lilith.
Okay.
That has nothing to do with her.
Okay. I was trying
Lilith
to see.
is going to show up. Lilith will show up on your chart as it looks almost like, I think it's like a question mark looking thing with a cross at the bottom. That's how you know it, because they'll either call it the dark moon, Like I said, Lilith, dark moon, some shit like that.
It had the Chiron, the Ascendant, the MC, and North Node, and the rest were just the planets.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, it's I'll grab a picture. Hold on. I can show you really quickly. I have my phone here specifically in case I needed to Google. Yeah, okay. So I said question mark, but it's like a moon. It's a moon with a cross at the bottom of it. That's why in my head it looked like that. And that's Chiron there. So it's a K with an O at the bottom. And then Lilith is the moon with a cross at the bottom. Lilith is ruled by Scorpio.
You said the Chiron is the dark moon. Is that what you said?
One more time?
You said the Chiron is the dark moon. Is that what you said?
No, Lilith is a dark moon.
Lilith
Chiron
is
is the
dark
wounded
moon.
healer.
Okay.
Yep. North Node, my definition of it, and please do your own research. If you don't agree with that's cool. Again, not astrologer, is your soul's destiny, your life purpose, and areas of growth. So these are mathematical points. I don't know how they did it. Ask an astrologer. So your North Node and your South Node will always be opposites. So when you look at a natal chart, you're always going to see your North Node. They never talk about a South Node. Just go opposite of it. So like, for instance, my North Node is here. So my South Node is directly below it. And it's at the same degrees. I'm not going to get into what degrees are. There's too much involved in that. Every single fucking degree has a meaning. So we just don't have time to. And I'm not well versed enough. Anyways, so my understanding of a North Node would be it's like your soul's destiny, your life purpose, areas of growth. This changes every 1.5 years. Your South Node is your soul's past, ingrained or mastered habits, talents, including comfort zones and baggage from past lives. So it would be kind of like, I would look at like a Chiron in a type of vein. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but in my opinion, that's kind of that. So like the wounded healer, something you can't get past is probably baggage from a past life or something that your comfort zone. Growth doesn't happen outside of comfort zone. So that's kind of there. Where retrogrades. So now that we've talked about planets, I just want to get into retrogrades, what they are and what they mean. So that way you have an understanding of that. So retrogrades are an optical illusion of a planet moving backwards. When this happens, so like that's why things will go from one sign to, again, the zodiac. The zodiac signs never change, but your planets do. So like Pluto is in backwards, so I'm so sorry. So Pluto in Aquarius, but right now it's like retrograde. But sometimes it can dip back into wrong way, a previous one. So go with Capricorn. So when somebody's saying, well, Pluto's supposed to be in Aquarius. Yes, it is, but it looks like it's retrograde because it's looking like it's sitting in Capricorn. That's what that means. It's not actually in Capricorn, but from where we are on this planet and perspective and shit and everything, that's how it looks. So when that happens, when retrogrades happen, go within. Instead of external, go internal. That's literally what that's about. So it's about reflection, reevaluation, revisiting past issues, and a time to go inward for self-improvement. And everybody hates fucking Mercury in retrograde because that's when communication gets all jacked up and shit and everything. Because again, that's part of that whole thing of reflection. How are you actually communicating? Are you as clear as you think you're being? No? Cool. Technology has a tendency to go fucking haywire. Shit like that. I don't know why fucking technology is a thing during fucking Mercury retrograde, but it's legit. Something will always fucking happen.
Mercury is a communication planet, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Technology, that's what we use to communicate. I'm just saying.
Correct. You're absolutely spot on.
Computers to start up. It's all communication.
Yeah. Okay. So those are the planets. Now we are going to talk about the zodiacs. And I need everybody to understand when I'm giving you a little snippet of like what traits are. These things are far more extensive. There's far more. Please be like, if she said this and she forgot that, I don't care. Take it up with your mom. Don't take it up with me because I don't care. I'm not an astrologer. But I want to give a little bit of an idea. I want to go through the list because we're going to start with the youngest to the oldest because it's like literally maturity level that rolls here. And Pisces, so it starts with Aries, ends with Pisces. That's part of why Pisces is intuitive. This bitch has been through it all. She's seen it all. You can't fucking tell her shit. This is maturity level. This has nothing to do with its actual age, if that makes sense. This is maturity level. Aries. I refer to an Aries as a toddler. because that's literally how they operate. Yeah, correct. So that's why when I say youngest to oldest, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about maturity level, not age, because you can have a very,
They're just impulsive.
what is a toddler? Yes, I'm sorry. And when I describe that shit and I'm talking to Aries, they agree. Oh, yeah, let's start off with that one. So the youngest zodiac sign isn't Aries. Oh, it is action, not age. This is what to expect when you're dealing with zodiacs. So, and again, not expansive. Aries are action, their energy, their competition. They look for adventure. They're impulsive. They are hot headed and they are quick to anger. So that's why I believe that the impulsiveness, like my brother is an Aries moon, which means he thinks and processes that way. My brother has complete disregard for consequences. Consequences are a tomorrow problem. They're not a today problem. That's how you operate. That's why I call them toddlers. Toddlers don't know that, don't touch the fucking stove. It's going to burn your hand. They don't care. They just want to touch it. It's red. It's pretty. That's an Aries. Yes. So Taurus, they are fierce. They are loyal. They are generous. They are very honest. But on the flip side of that, they are stubborn. Their laziness can deter some of their goals. I personally view a Taurus as either a bull in a china shop breaking shit and not thinking twice about it, or a willow tree. Deep, 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 deep roots with these big, beautiful leaves. That to me is a Taurus. Least favorite sign, Gemini. Everybody hates Geminis. Everybody hates them.
I got a lot of
Most people,
Geminis in my life. I don't mind you guys.
I'm not surprised. Yeah, I'm not surprised because Gemini and Virgo work very well. It's an issue for me, but they are intelligent, they are very curious, they are communicators, but they are also, like, when I say but, this is like flip side. Those are good perks. Now here are bad perks. So they are easily distracted. They are very gossipy. I love gossip. It is probably my worst favorite fucking trait. I want to hear all the tea. I want to hear the tea. I'm fucking in it. She said, "What?" Yeah, I'm very, like, that's a bad trait, but I own it. They are flippant, they are restless, they are considered two-faced. You get one way and then the next day they're that way. I am a Gemini sun. And I have a huge ass stellium in Gemini, and I'll get into stelliums, but I don't identify with a lot of that, and that's because of my rising sign. I would not.
I think it's two. This is my
They're
perspective.
considered two-faced
I,
because
I
they
know
change
they're
their mind.
I know they're considered two-faced, but my experience, and this is just my personal experience, I
Yeah,
don't think it's two-faced. I think it's just two people. It's your good twin and your evil twin. And
that
sometimes I
is so
let the evil
accurate.
twin take over. It's just two people living in
You
there.
have no idea. I can tell you from my spiritual journey, from the shit that I've been unpacking personally, that is far more accurate than not accurate. It's literally that, where I've shut down, like, not to get too much into it, where I've shut down my shadow side, my dark side so much, wanting to come out kind of thing. And it's coming out
Yeah.
into, like, yeah, you're not wrong. In my opinion, I think that's far more accurate.
You got to integrate it. And it don't, because when you
Yeah,
shut it down and you neglect the other part of you, like, you
yeah,
have that other side for a reason. It's for you. It's your
correct,
survival. So you can't
correct,
ignore it. You got to integrate. That's
correct.
all. That's all Mama Empress gonna say.
Yeah. But that
Integrate.
okay. So that's Gemini, and I didn't mean to harp on that just because I'm a Gemini. I swear to
I
God I
know.
didn't. Anyways, so now we've got Cancer. So Cancers are very nurturing, they're intuitive, they're protective, but on the flip side, they can be moody, they can be clingy, resistant to change, build emotional walls.
And very
Water
emotional.
sign, yeah. And I don't even want to get into water sign stuff because I explained that at the end of all this. So yes, that's Cancer. Emperor is a Cancer. So then we've got Leo. And Leo, to me, I have two signs personally that I would say are grossly misunderstood. And here's the signs that I personally believe. I believe that everything that people think Leos are actually Aquarius. Leos are very much a showman. They are natural attention grabbers. The Leos I have encountered a lot of actually try to dim their light because they are considered too much for people. People think that they're very grandiose, very much. You're trying to get the spotlight, but the spotlight just loves them because that's just naturally who they are. Aquariuses are more of what people think Leos are. That's my personal opinion. I'm sorry. I love Aquariuses too. But okay, so Leos, they lead, they perform, they're confident, they are people. They love people. Flip side, they can be arrogant, they can be inflexible, and they can be very dominating. And that's
And
why I
stubborn.
think they turn
Don't
off
forget
people.
stubborn. Don't forget stubborn.
Stubborn. Yep. Inflexible, same thing. Yeah. All right. So now we've got Virgo. You two are Virgos. They are very loyal. They are very hardworking, practical, analytical, problem solving. But flip side, they can be perfectionists. They can be controlling. They can be judgmental, closed off. But a lot of the judgmental, I'm a Virgo rising. No one's harder on themselves than a Virgo. Period. We hold ourselves to a standard other people don't.
Can
And
I
you
just
ladies can add anything with a
yeah,
Virgo because you guys know.
okay, first off, the outside world sees it as judgmental. We're not judging, we're observing and we're correcting because of the perfectionist. And like you said, we expect perfection in ourselves, but we always give grace to others
Yeah.
more than we do ourselves. Yeah. And I just get upset when people think of it. It might come across as judging because a lot of us have a certain tone, but we just in fix it mode. That's it. And if we did correct you, that means we actually care a little bit about you. Because if we don't, we'll just let you fall flat on your face. We don't fix
Correct.
everything. It's only when we care.
Correct.
That's my 2
Correct.
cents. What you got?
Pattern person. I recognize patterns, but people's behavior is always so easily identified that I can like sometimes I'm like, I know what's gonna happen 3 steps ahead. Like I've seen this. I've seen this over and over and over again in different iterations. Like, ooh, that to me is like Virgo. That's Virgo energy. Now we got Libra, because I want to try and wrap this up. So we've got Libra. So Libras are sensual, they are passionate, they are diplomatic, and they are justice fighters. It is literally justice on the tarot card. Now, flip side, they are unpredictable, they avoid conflict. Now, here's the thing about a Libra. Libras, and this isn't all of them, but like I said, this is all generalization, but you want to be aware of the fact that Libras are so self-preserving that they have a tendency to lie for self-preservation because they don't like conflict. They don't want to do that. So it might be like one of those things like, yeah, sure, I like that. That's great. That's wonderful. And next thing you know, they're like, no, I don't like that. I'm like, bitch, I thought that was your favorite thing. No, it's kind of that. They would rather be peacemakers than,
Well,
yeah,
they just don't like,
yeah,
they don't even like verbal
yes,
confrontation. Like they don't.
yeah. Also, they have a tendency because they're an air sign. I'll get into that a little. They like to stuff shit down, so they can actually be very volatile at times because eventually that shit will erupt. So it's like you may think this comes out of no fucking where, and it's like, nah, it's because they've just been banking it because they're avoiding conflict.
Yeah,
So
and then you get caught in a Spanish Inquisition, and they like the lead DA prosecuting your ass.
yeah, oh yeah, because they're an air sign. We'll get into that. Okay, so now we got Scorpio. Dude, let me fucking tell you, people hate getting into fights with
Wait a
me.
minute, out of my
I'm
first side.
I'm an Aquarius moon. I'm a Virgo rising and a Gemini sun. I debate, bitch. Let's do this. Let's argue. Okay, so Scorpios are passionate. They are loyal. They're intuitive. They are charismatic, but they can be intense. They can be possessive. They can be manipulative. Nobody observes like a Scorpio, period, end of subject. I don't care. I am a Virgo rising. I will bet. I love that shit. Nothing like a Scorpio because they keep everything. They keep receipts for literally fucking everything and they will use it to their advantage and they will destroy you with it. Nothing like Scorpios are like literally think of what a fucking Scorpio is. There you go. Okay. Sagittarius. So Sagittariuses are positive, they are lucky, they are humanitarians, but they don't like being tied down. They can be egotistical and they can be blunt.
Reckless? Did you say reckless?
Sagittarius.
I said, did you say
Reckless?
reckless?
No. Oh, did I say that? No, but I'm assuming you're adding. That would be it. They don't like being tied down, so that would, to me, would be reckless. Sagittarius to me is, I refer to them as a navigator of the stars, and I don't know where I got that from, but when I've looked that up, that's actually far more accurate than not. I just think of them as a sailor in the sky. I don't fucking know why. Don't ask me. Okay. Now we got Capricorn. Capricorns are ambitious, they are disciplined, they are hardworking, and they are analytical. If you're dealing with an earth, you're dealing with somebody who analyzes. That's what they do because they are literally hardworking. They are tangible, salt of the earth kind of people. Literally, they're fucking earth signs. Okay, anyways. So they are skeptical. Flip side, they can be skeptical. They can be inflexible. They can be emotionally reserved. Not much feeling there, just tangibles. Dad going off to work kind of shit. Okay. Now we got Aquarius. So, and I do love Aquarius. And I'm an Aquarius moon. When I say stuff like that, I'm just saying, like, man, no one's more vocal than a fucking Aquarius. I will tell you that right now. And I know a pile of them. And they love their sign. And Aquarius is like, fuck you, I'm the Kool-Aid man. That's an Aquarius. So they are visionary. They are cold. They can be condescending. They are humanitarians. And they believe themselves to be the most unique things on the face of the earth. They are original.
Well, my dad's a Sag, and bless you, Dad. It took him 4 times, but he finally found his forever person. And my Mimi, my stepmom, she's an Aquarius, and they work so well together that I've never seen my dad happier. So yeah,
Yeah,
just
because he feels seen and understood.
yes, yes.
So they're emotionally detached, they're unpredictable, unwilling to compromise. So now we've got the final, which is Pisces. So Pisces are artistic, they're intuitive, they're natural healers, they're selfless. Flip side, they're moody, they're lazy, and they can be escapists. They like to escape reality kind of thing.
That's my kid.
Yeah.
That's my kid.
Pisces, yeah. Pisces are definitely okay. So, and I know we've got a few minutes. We got to wrap up because Kim's got to go chase some ducks and shit. So we got
Literally
so
chasing ducks and chickens.
he is fixing ducks. So
Literally has to go chase ducks and chickens.
yeah. Oh, did I make that sound like she was? Yeah, Farmer Kim.
That's neither here nor there.
I won't have a duck. I won't have things in cages. It's a thing of mine. All right. Anyways, so let's wrap this up. This is actually a good stopping point. So what these zodiacs are, there's 12 of them, and they're broken up into 4 categories. So you have water signs. You have water signs, you have fire signs, you have earth signs, you have air signs. So what does this mean? Water signs are emotions. They are just like with tarot. Part of why we're doing this is to lay the foundation for tarot. So, and this is everything. So we've got water. They're emotions. So those are your Pisces, your Cancer, your Scorpios. Then you have fire signs, which are passion. It's that wand energy. It's passion. They're fiery, fucking quite literally. Those are your Sagittariuses, your Leos, your Aries. Then you have your earth signs. Earth signs are hard workers, salt of the earth kind of thing. Those are your Virgos, your Capricorns, your Tauruses. Then you have air signs. Air signs are thoughts. They're thinkers. They're in their head constantly. Those are your Geminis, those are your Aquariuses, and those are your Libras. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because a lot of these things can be actually interchangeable. We were just literally talking about Sagittarius being a fire sign and Aquarius being an air sign. When you want to start talking about compatibility of things, there's a lot of stuff that goes into that, but you want to start thinking about that. Water douses fire. You're probably going, if you are a fire sign, you're probably in a fire heavy chart, meaning you have a lot of planets in fire. You're probably not going to get along as well with a water sign because they're going to not work well with you. That's why you want to look at elements, because it's like, think about those as like rock, paper, scissors, the same fucking shit. So what is it that they do? So what stokes fire? Air does.
Air.
So an air and water will work together. You know,
Air.
water and earth go well together, but you also will have some issues because water signs are emotional. And 75% of this bitch is air. I hurt feelings of water signs because I don't think in emotions. I think very logical. It's part of why I have to go through the awakening that I did was literally that. I'm an emotional person, the flip side, the Gemini, but still, it's one of those things. So I have a tendency to be like in your face. Hey, here you go. Here's facts. Ba 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 ba. With a Virgo rising. Here you go. This is logical. I've seen the patterns. Here you go. And people are like, whoa, bitch. No. Can you sugarcoat that? Can you do something? And I'm like, I don't know how to sugarcoat. I'm not gonna hold your hand. I'm not your mommy.
Don't have
So
time.
these are like, yeah, that's why these things are very important. But that wraps up the zodiac aspect. Empress, I know you had a couple of facts. I know Kim's got to go. We're going to go into houses, how it's related, rising sign, why that's important, how to actually listen to horoscopes in what I would believe would be the most proper manner, what types of astrology we've got going on here, and natal synastry charts, just what they are, how to look for them, shit like that. And we're going to pull our own big three and start talking. We've already started touching on it. I have personally. So yeah, and we're going to look into that and we're going to bring them together and kind of see how accurate it feels.
This makes me very excited for part 2. I already have I have my legal sheet. I've already taken like a whole page on my legal sheet of notes. So I think that's good that Kim suggested viewers, if you have any questions, hit us up and we'll answer them on part 2 of astrology and the zodiac. Leading us into
Yes.
Elle's favorite topic.
It's actually a toss-up for me. I love astrology personally. That's why all this information I've learned myself because I feel it's so important. But yeah,
Yeah, you've
but
been very
I'm definitely
dedicated.
from more tarot. Yes.
Awesome. So does this conclude part 1 of astrology?
Mm-hmm.
We good? We good? We good? All right, ladies. You know what we like to say. Energy is the new commodity. Go. All right, ladies. Be safe
All right.
in the storm. We'll be checking on each other. All right. Go round up
Yes.
them ducks and chickens, Kim. Go.
All right.